Hi friends, it's Lori with Main Street Gardener. I'm out in the garden super early and I'm really excited today. I am addressing a problem space. It's a small little space, but it just wasn't working. It's part of the new garden bed that I've been creating, and it's kind of an empty space that I just haven't found the right things for yet. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to add a perennial, actually a butterfly, small butterfly bush. I'm going to add a beautiful dahlia to bring in the color story. And then I'm going to pop in some echinacea and some annuals, just a few to kind of fill in. I'm also going to add a large container filled with dahlias to kind of fill in a spot that's really hard to plant in. Ultimately, I want to get a gorgeous container, maybe on my Christmas list, for this spot, and then fill it with either perennials or annuals. So that's what I'm looking for, but I want to find the right one, the right size, and I don't want to be in a rush. So for this hot part of summer, we're headed into July, August, September. I want this spot to look great, and so I'm just going to do these filler items. I think it's going to work perfect. So let me turn around. I'm going to show you this little problem area, and then we'll talk about the plants that I'm going to add. Okay, so if you're familiar with my garden and my tours, right here is my main driveway border garden and the crabapple beds, and there's the patio. And right here at this red, I am going to paint that green water pump. All of this is relatively new. So this is right at our driveway. And so it's looking good, but I have this one area, it's pretty evident, that is just a struggle. We have several water lines that run through here, so it's really hard to plant in. I'm going to need to do some low ground cover. And my vision ultimately would be to put a container kind of right here where this water is. I would put it on some blocks so it's above the water line, but I think having a beautiful container in this area, because I want to give the rose plenty of room. I have another rose here. I have a lot of salvia and foxglove. So I think a container is just going to be a perfect long-term option. I am going to put one here today, but it's not permanent. So that's gonna address that spot. Then over here, I've had several things in this area and they just have not done great. So I'm gonna go with a tried and true butterfly bush, one of the small ones. And so let me get the camera to stop moving and I'll show those to you. Okay, so I think my idea in this space, right where the shovel is, I'm gonna put in this gorgeous petite buddleia. And I wanted this one because I love this color. I don't have a lot of this magenta in my garden, and I really wanted to have that pop. I also thought it would be really beautiful against the rose. So I've got that. Now, right now, I have the white cleome, and it's, of course, an annual. So it will go away, and this will have plenty of room to grow, even though it's a petite. So I'm going to put it right where that shovel is. Then in the front border, up another dahlia because I'm obsessed. It also has this kind of magenta pink color. Isn't that beautiful? This is at my local nursery. I don't know the name of the dahlia, but they grow them. Actually, it may say on here. No, it doesn't. Oh, here's a tag. Let's see what it says. This is Veracruz. XXL. So this one must be going to get really large. The tag says Veracruz, but the picture doesn't match. So I don't know. It could have gotten mislabeled, but she's beautiful. And I'm just going to use her as a filler. I already have one dahlia here, but I think that pop will be really nice. So I'm going to add that. And then the container. Now back here, I'm going to add a guara. So my idea is I'm going to plant it as close as I can to the cleome because, again, the cleome is temporary. The guar will just kind of sit here and grow. It'll be beautiful. But then next year, my hope is it will get large and it will fill in this space. The reason I chose the guar is I love just the dances in the breeze. It is so hardy. It doesn't need, you can cut it back in the fall. It comes back, it's reliable, and it gets larger and larger. And I think it'll be a really soft addition between these two roses. So I think that will be a great option. So I'm going to try to get in there first, dig that. Now I have a little Nepeta back here, and I am going to, it looks like a cat's pajama. I'm going to move that forward. So I'm going to try to get it right here in front. And then once I put my container in, I have some smaller annuals that I may pop around the container. We'll just see how that goes. Now I also picked up a Poco Yellow. This is a perennial. It's like a coneflower, but it's a yellow one. And I thought the garden needed a little pop of yellow. I was hoping that it would fit over in that garden space, but I think once I get the container in there, I'm not sure I'm going to have room. So I'm thinking right here would be a perfect little spot. Until that boxwood grows, I can just pop that in. I can always, of course, move it. I move perennials all the time. And as I walk the garden, I may find another spot. And then coming over here, I picked up 2 more of these gorgeous echinacea. This peachy yellow, and I'm actually going to put 2 here together. This is my sweet little Zambia plant that the bunnies got. So it's coming back, and in the heat it should take off. The obedient plant is blooming, and I've got dahlias all in the back. So I think this area is going to start looking really nice, but I thought that could be a really nice pop right there and a great addition. All right, enough looking around. I want to get planting before it gets too hot. So I'm just going to set up the camera. The gnats are out, so I'm going to put on my gnat hat and we're just going to get to it. I will show you the finished product once I'm all done. Okay, so I got the guara planted right down there. It's going to be perfect. She's just going to fill in and be beautiful between the roses. So now I'm going to come in and add the butterfly bush, I think. Okay, so I got the dahlia added right next to the other dahlia, and I'm assuming she is going to fill in and get big. Now I am going to have to add some mulch in this area, but it's starting to come together. Now I'm going to come in and get the Nepeta added. So I love this grass here, but you can see she gets a little wild and messy. So I'm just going to give her a little trim. I also brought this grass that is kind of a shade grass, and I'm just wondering how it might look tucked in somewhere in here to give a different color tone. I think we're all pinks, and I'm thinking about it. I also have that yellow echinacea that I could pop in. So let me get the grass trim back, and then I'm going to see what I think is going to work and come together nicely. What I'm going to do is put the Poco Yellow coneflower here. That will also be a permanent addition, which will be really nice for late summer and matches the guara. Okay, so right in front, I think I am going to put, of course, I have the Nepeta. I am going to probably tuck this grass in next to this other grass. I think that little pop of chartreuse will be nice. I could also put it back behind the rose. I'm going to think about it. Let's get this Nepeta in the ground. Okay, so I think it's coming along. So I cut back the dahlia because I just want it to start back growing, and I'm going to make sure I give it some fish emulsion today. I've got the butterfly bush that's going to just fill this area eventually. These are very slow in my opinion. I added the echinacea and it probably won't stay here, but for right now I think it'll be beautiful. The guar will stay. The coneflower will probably move over this fall to where the cleome is. I just didn't want to risk the cleome struggling. Now I did add these gorgeous, they are a summer annual daisy and they get really large. They love the heat, very drought tolerant, and I thought it would be a nice texture with the cleome. They're in pinks. And then I moved the sedum here. I've got the Nepeta. I'm going to pick up some more ground cover for this area, probably some sedums. They do great just to fill in this corner. It always is a struggle. So I think I'll get some of those when I go get some mulch today. And I think that's going to be beautiful. Now, I am going to see if I can add that grass back there for a little pop of green in this area. And if I can't, then I'll use it, of course, somewhere else. So we're going to do that and then we're going to finish up. Okay, I just love that little touch of grass right there. It will do great because it's pretty shaded. And I think that little bit of chartreuse will be nice. We're going to get the container moved. And I do have two small little proven winner annual dahlias that, well, they'll make tubers. They're the Pinkerific. And I'm going to pop those in. I think it'll just be the icing on the cake. This is just going to be a beautiful pink, little touches of blue. I don't know what color this dahlia is, so that could surprise us. And I think once we get the container, this is just going to be really nice for this summer season. All dressed up. And then So before I wrap up, I didn't want to forget these two gorgeous Rebecchias. So I think earlier I said echinacea, they are Rebecchias. So I want to just plant them as if they're two plants. I have this same Rebecchia on the other side of the garden. It's already doubled in size and is covered in blooms. So I know with the pending heat that we're going to have, this is going to take off. And I think it will be a great tall addition to this garden, and the colors should just be beautiful. Now in this garden bed, I have some gladiolus that are going to bloom later this summer, and they're in shades of apricot and peaches. I have a lot of pink in this bed. The dahlias are all in shades of pinks and some darker pink. So I think adding these to Rebecchia are just going to be absolutely beautiful. So we're just going to get these planted. My soil is so wet. It's going to really help with the pending heat. And I'm not going to add drip to these. This area gets some nice water. We've got drip throughout it, and I'll just monitor them, but they should be just fine and should do great. So I'm excited to see how they grow and the beautiful blooms. Okay, so it is evening time. I wanted to come out when the light was a little bit better and show you this finished space. I'll try to pop up the before right here because I think it's just going to be so beautiful. So again, there's going to be a large dahlia right there. So that's going to come up large. The butterfly bush will be pretty small this year. There is the coneflower in the back. The guara just filled in nice. I love that little grass just popping in there. Nice little kind of ground cover effect. And then in the front, this is a sedum that was already here. The Nepeta. These are the little pink dahlias from Proven Winners. That's an annual. This is a daisy annual dahlia. Another little small dahlia. And then these are three that I picked up. These are small petite zinnias. And I think I'm going to pop these in the ground later tonight or in the morning. Just thought they'd be nice. I got them because this nursery that I go to local, when they sell their annuals, they're done. So they're usually done. They were probably done about 2 weeks ago. They had just a few things left, and I just love their quality. They grow everything, and these colors are beautiful. So I think they're going to be great popped in here. I did bring over this black container that is full of the dahlias I grew from seed. And this container, I think, only has 4. It's doing great. And I've got a tutor on it, and I think that's going to be just beautiful. So I'm really happy. It's so fun to take one little spot that's really stressing you out or not looking great in the garden and just take a few plants, rearrange some plants, and come away with something that you like. Using this container here also will let me know if I really like a container here, and I'm positive that I do. As we wrap, let me show you the rolled doll roses. They just continue. I've never had this many blooms. I don't know if it's being in more sun, if it's the fish emulsion. It's probably a little bit of both, but they're just absolutely gorgeous this year and not shedding a bit. Now we're getting ready to be super hot, so I'm assuming they're going to fry, but that's okay. I'm going to fertilize them really good in the morning. I want the leaves to stay that really dark color. These out front have gotten a little bit lighter, so I do want to give them some nutrition. And as soon as they finish this flush, I'll give them a nice cut, and I know they will bloom again. But I just wanted you to see how gorgeous they are. Move this way. Okay, so guys, it's been a hot one. It was hot this morning. I've been working on and off throughout the day in the garden, just kind of deadheading, piddling, watering, fertilizing, all those things before this second heat wave that we're going to be getting. I hope you're staying cool where you are and that your garden is thriving. And I hope you'll click like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.